steel makers to benefit from increased EV production. Now, think of all the steel body frames on cars. That's a lot of steel. Think about what it takes to build a skyscraper. That's steel. Many other different products, pots, pans, stainless steel. Steel's not going anywhere. So again, to the concept of, you don't necessarily want to be the gold miner out in the rivers trying to get the gold. You want to sell the gold miners the picks, the axes, which is usually made with steel. And so, according to the World AutoSteel, so far steel is winning the emissions race for structural materials used in cars. Steel has the lowest carbon footprint of any material used in the automotive structures. Primary steel production emits 7 to 20 times fewer greenhouse gases compared to other materials. That's always been fact. All these different rare metals out there, they're cool to use. We can do a lot of different things for them. But time and time again, old reliable steel has came up to have less carbon footprint. The Steel Recycling Institute, SRI, a business unit of the American Iron and Steel Institute, released a peer-reviewed study that examines the overall environment impact of vehicle lightweighting using advanced high-strength steel, AHSS, compared with aluminum. So this new product that's coming out with steelmakers, advanced high-strength steel, this still has all the qualities of good, proper steel, but it's lighter weight. So with these electric vehicles, they're not being weighed down as much. And that's a good competitor to aluminum, which a lot of people don't realize. Aluminum is one of the most environmentally dangerous metals to produce out there. And with its lightweight qualities, though, a lot of automakers were trying to transfer over to that. I don't think that's necessarily going to work over into the long run if the goal is to stay cognizant with the environmental, social, and greenhouse gases, the ESG movement. And so some gematria with that: high strength steel used in EV, aluminum not as green as steel, aluminum not green inside cars, all equal 303 in English ordinal. Remember, 3 value placeholder, 33. Then we have metallurgical coal is needed for steel. Met coal, you call that for short, 330 English ordinal, 33. Electric vehicles need steel frame, advanced high-strength steel in EV. Steel is much greener than aluminum, all equal 137 in English reduction, 33rd prime. So the gematria is telling us the tape, and that's why we follow it, and it's simple decodes to put in. We're not doing anything crazy. You type in simple phrases, and it lets you know what the deal is. AHSS, advanced high-strength steel, intensive vehicles had lower or equivalent total life cycle of greenhouse gases, GHG, emissions than aluminum-intensive vehicles for every class of vehicle tested. Advanced high-strength steel intensive vehicles were shown to have lower life cycle GHG emissions versus aluminum-intensive vehicles more than 90% of the 5,000 cases studied. So out of 5,000 cases, 90% of them have showed that, advanced high-strength steel is a lot better than aluminum. And this comes from in each vehicle type too, SUV, truck, minis, like compact, motorcycles. And this comes from Life Cycle Greenhouse Gas and Energy Study, Automotive Lightweighting. That's the case study. The study further highlights that solely focusing on tailpipe emissions will likely produce unintended consequences of higher total greenhouse gas emissions to the atmosphere when considering lightweighting of vehicle body enclosures. So if you try to get a lightweight vehicle via aluminum, you're not doing anything with the environment. You could say the tailpipe emissions are going down, but everything before you even get to that tailpipe emissions is going extremely dangerously up. And as you see, High strength steel for new EVs equals 331 English ordinal, 33. And that big investment number in reduction, 133. So you see that 33 connection. We want to be in the places that have that high strength steel that are making that product. Aluminum is not as green when compared to AHSS steel inside cars, 3033 in Latin, 333. The increase in result of the significant differences in emissions between AHSS and aluminum in the production phase of the materials. The increased production emissions for aluminum can outweigh emissions reductions in both the driving and recycling phases, according to the SRI study. Comparison to AHS steel aluminum not green inside cars, 3,300 in English Sumerian. Steel is the only material critical to allow low carbon technologies like wind, solar, and power generation, battery and fuel cell-based electric vehicles, and hydrogen production. Very important. And the two biggest steel producers in America are Cleveland-Cliffs and U.S. Steel Corporation. Cleveland-Cliffs equals 133 English ordinal, and U.S. Steel Corporation equals 1,033 in Latin gematria. So you have those investment numbers of 133. Highly important. Now, you might ask, well, does that mean we're going to be investing in Cleveland-Cliffs, U.S. Steel Corporation? Maybe in the future. I don't necessarily see them as a good risk-reward opportunity right now. They're going to stay around for the company as the company, but again, we're going to get deeper into that coal miner or pick and axe scenario, because I don't necessarily see an opportunity to make a lot of money off Cleveland-Cliffs and U.S. Steel Corporation stocks right now. They're kind of uninspiring, but they buy their products from a key source that in a stock that we're invested in right now. And when we get into our data dividend pack, we'll go over it. And I'm really excited.